Welcome back, everybody. We are back with Football Nation Podcast. It is Derek and Tyler. We are back to talk about games from last week. And man, there were some good games
Big
last
week.
week, college and NFL. Man, there were some good ones.
It was. It was some great
Man,
ones, man.
so let's go ahead and kick it off with man a good game, pretty good, can't lie. Man, tell me, did um did Georgia just prove that uh that they are that they are the the true best team in college?
Man, it was a game that didn't go the way we either of us thought. We could start there, man.
Right.
We both thought Tennessee were going to come out, spread it out, light them up. Didn't quite go that way. Even without Nolan Smith, even without the experienced guys they lost in the draft and over the offseason, it seems like these 9 games, they have gone right back to where they were last year with a new crew. And
Mhm.
I think they're definitely – it's tough because you got three teams at the top right now. I
Right.
think, Ohio State, Michigan, and Georgia, that's the conversation for who's the number one. I'm going to definitely go with Georgia. The defense just looks too stout, and especially if they can have a home field advantage in any game, you can tell that Athens is really going to pull through and be an asset for them. Hendon Hooker was held to 5.9 yards per pass, man. Like we discussed last week that they spread their offense out so much that I thought it was going to force Georgia to show their hand a little more. That if they're going to blitz, they're going to show it fully, and it's going to be to their advantage. But what they did, they fell back on defense. They kind of took this approach of bend don't break, and they bent on every play, allow the completion, but tackle immediately. They just step back, let the receiver get the ball, and get him. And I think really it was beyond impressive to hold who went into the week as the Heisman frontrunner to a
Hyped and
60
everything.
points. Bro, Hendon Hooker was supposed to win the Heisman if you would have asked people last week.
Oh,
And
of
he was
course, yes.
held to a
Front
60.7
runner.
passer rating.
Right.
60.7, man. Like 5.9 yards per pass is just terrible. You look at the 23 for 33, and it's like, that's not that bad. 193 or 195 yards, that happened in college. But the passer rating and the yards per pass, it was troubling, bro. It made me question who is Tennessee really.
Right.
I think Stetson Bennett. I didn't respect him as much as I should going into this week,
That
man.
man is showing up as a big
Yeah,
time quarterback.
it was
He
in the
is
first quarter of last
playing
week
like it.
that he's more athletic than I gave him credit for on that 13-yard scamper to the end zone.
Right.
His arm's a little stronger than I gave him credit for, man.
They
He
are.
looks a lot. I mean, I think the Georgia team as a whole took it personally to say that people really think people are going to beat us in our own house. They took that personal. They
They
really
did.
showed up.
Real
Athens showed
personal.
up. There was even a good chunk of the stadium that was all orange. Like Tennessee had a crowd there, but you couldn't tell by the noise because when
Not
Georgia's
really.
offense was on the field, it was stone silent, bro. When Tennessee was on the field, I mean, the announcers had to pick up their voice, man, just to get over the crowd. It was something that every facet. Carter, man, that defensive tackle, he only got 2 sacks. He only got 2 tackles for loss. Or sorry, 1 sack, 2 tackles for loss, 4 tackles on the day. But it was just like what we're going to talk about later with Vita Vea, where him just pushing that pocket back every single play,
Every
you could
snap.
tell really early that Hendon Hooker was kind of in his head about it. He
Right.
was really like unsure of where to go on every play. And once they started getting nickels and dimes, 5-yard completions, they were immediately stopped, turning on the 3-and-outs. You could tell it rattled Tennessee's offense. They got into a lack of a flow that we haven't seen them be in all year, man. Like it was so impressive. And even Keely Ringo, I think we should have respected him more. We talked so much about, Hyatt and the other receivers that Tennessee's going to have to get open. We should have respected Keely Ringo more because on that play, he got the interception, man. He ran the route better than the receiver did. And it was
Yeah.
something I kind of had to sat back like, I knew they were good. I knew they were great, but this is great 2 years in a row. And so personally, they proved themselves to me. That's my number one team right now.
Georgia. Georgia is.
It has to be. I like Ohio State. I think
Mhm.
Michigan's great, but they're going to be on a collision course here pretty soon. So
Oh, of
we'll
course.
figure them out here soon,
Yeah.
next couple
Yeah.
weeks.
The
But
last
right
week.
now, I'm going to let Georgia just stand tall on theirs. They're number one.
Understandable. All right, man. So look, if you go back to 2016, I think.
Mm.
Dak was in college. Man, he took his team to be pointed at number one. They so played, a very good team, a great team, and lost. And then they were like 10th, 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 10th or 12th ranked, you know. So I think that Tennessee could be like that team back then. Now, can they change? Get better? Yes, they can. But they don't play no good team. Ever, I think now because
Alabama and Georgia was the highlight of their schedule.
yeah, right. That's it. And you can beat the Obama, but you lose to Georgia. So had you beat Georgia, oh man, hey, you are the top dog,
Yeah.
but you lost to Georgia. Granted, Georgia's at home, but you still lose. So that proved to us that Tennessee can win only when they're at home,
Maybe.
not away.
I think Tennessee is still a great college team, but when I was calling them the team of destiny last week, I think I got to retract that, take a step back, and humble myself on that take because, I mean, even the Alabama win, we've had to come and learn that Alabama on the road is not the same team.
And so
did you really beat Alabama or did you beat the weak side of Alabama?
Exactly. Right.
And so you beat the weaker end of Alabama on the road. Then you lose to Georgia handedly. Like, it wasn't even a shootout. It was pretty bad. Like, they put up points, don't get me wrong, but 5.9 yards per pass. That's the one that I keep looking at.
And 13
really?
The whole game.
Man, I can't remember a top flight team like that.
Right.
5.9 per pass. Like a run, that's great. Per pass for a team that could spread it out downfield.
Right.
That's tough, man. That's a they got humbled. I want to see how they rebound, but right now they're definitely going to fall a couple places in the rankings right now.
Oh yeah, man. So I think that Tennessee went back all the way to a 7 now rank.
Yeah.
Yes. So it's first Georgia, then second, Ohio State. Third is Michigan, and then you got fourth TCU.
Okay, I like that. I think they're definitely lucky that losing Alabama and Clemson losing kept them from falling a little further.
To 9th now.
Is Clemson even top 10?
Man, they are 13th, I think.
I got to give you credit. You said you would have ranked Clemson 9th last week. That was pretty good. That was a good take.
They aren't good. They're not.
My God. We're going to get to that in a second. But, yeah, underwhelming at best.
Matter of fact, that is where we're
at next up.
Clemson, man. Is the Clemson era over? Honestly, yeah, it's over. Yes. So you got there only because of Deshaun Watson and Trevor Lawrence. Those are the only two guys that put you there.
Yeah.
Now it changed, and now they're gone. I feel like the true Clemson, shows now. I
they're kind
mean,
of
you go to Notre Dame and
yeah.
get spanked by Notre Dame, who is decent at best.
I think they're coming around.
They
If they could
are
have started the season this
decent
way,
at best.
they'd be a contender. But they just had such a
They
bad
would,
2
yes.
losses. Man, the thing that stood out to me the most: first quarter, 0 points. Second quarter, 0 points. Third quarter, 0 points. And then you want to pull 14 at the end, like
Right.
too little, way too late. Clemson, they're definitely not who they used to be. I think
They're not.
they are who they used to be prior to the two guys we just mentioned, Lawrence and Watson.
Yeah.
If you remember who they were with Kelly Bryant, where
they weren't
good team,
that good.
definitely good team, but when they get to that contention conversation, it's almost like
Uh-huh.
you gotta take a step back and really, really be sure about that. You know,
Right.
they're gonna have a Sammy Watkins or whoever come out the draft every once in a while. I think
Right.
my favorite player there is Brian Brees. They got a D tackle there that, I don't know where he's ranked projected wise, but I've loved him since he was a freshman. That's about it.
Right.
There are a lot. I kept saying last week that they just are too talented for a roster. And my expectation was that they were going to have a great, line of scrimmage control, offense and defense. Right. I did not see that. Matter of fact, I think I saw the opposite, and I saw Notre Dame come out and really, really establish themselves early and physically. Drew Pine, backup quarterback. You want to look at 9 for 17 passing, 85 yards. You're like, oh, that's underwhelming. It's like, no. He did everything he had to, bro. He had a rushing touchdown and a passing touchdown. They had 2 running backs.
Just win the game.
I need you to help me pronounce one of these names. I got Diggs, but is it Estime or Estime? Do you know?
I
want to get it right.
It's to me.
Something like that.
Yeah.
Regardless, man, Diggs and Estime was just they dominated. Diggs had 17 carries for 114 yards, 6.7 per carry. And you look at Estime, he had 18 for 104, 5.8 per carry, 1 touchdown, man. That's dominant. And that's not just to give them credit. Those 2 guys are both NFL talents, but the offensive line play was very, very impressive. They are back to Notre Dame status in that category for sure. And that's where my belief in the program under Marcus Freeman is definitely established. But those 2 running backs just hit every hole and made a lot out of it.
The whole game.
Man, they made so much out of it. It's like, what could you really do? As Clemson, if you can't stop that, and if you're just letting 2 guys gas you over and over, 2 guys over 5.5 yards per carry, one of them over 6.5 yards per carry, they're just controlling too much of the game. And even the Notre Dame defense was so impressive. I mean, you have a freshman, a true freshman cornerback in Benjamin Morrison, man. Had 2 picks, 4 tackles too, though. 2 tackles though, 4 tackles though. Mm-hmm. Like even that, he's not just a true freshman who's locking people down like a Derek Stingley. He is in the running game, and the 4 tackles were impressive, man. Like there was one play where he came in, cut down off outside zone, and it was like true freshman for real.
A true freshman. Yes.
Got another Kyle Hamilton out here. They be finding these guys, and so I just look at it like he's a star. First of all, he is a star, but that. They just controlled the game in every facet. They didn't just dominate; they controlled it. Their tempo was perfect. The way they controlled their time possession was perfect. They really didn't give Clemson an opportunity without them making highlight plays. And DJ Uiagalelei just did not. I can pronounce his name perfectly for no reason because he is underwhelming, man. I'm not sure where he's going to go.
Good bench, DJ.
But then Cade comes out. Cade's one pass was an interception. He threw one pass and it was an interception.
One though, right?
You can't throw an interception in your first pass, man. You gotta. I mean, maybe he's just gotta get comfortable.
Yes,
I'm sure they do just need to start him next home game. Just let him have it.
Who can you start truly and just deal with?
That was just
be like, okay,
they got their butts kicked, man. They really did.
They did.
Imagine they came in this week number 4. I mean, everybody looked at that like, that's too high. You got to have like 3 or 4 guys above that.
It was too high.
It was. I thought it was a little too high. I look back at you saying they should have been number 9 last week, and I'm like, that was a good call, bro. Damn, because I was like maybe 6, 7, 9 through 15 is where they might belong. Because I think Notre Dame is underranked, but. Not necessarily because it's not like they should. Not that they should be ranked higher. If you're just talking about pure talent and who can win on any given Saturday, that's what I mean. They are a talented team that can beat talented teams, but they started the season so bad that they're not going to make the rankings like that.
Very, very important. So they were
bad
ranked like
losses.
top 5
Yeah. Oh yeah,
starting
had to
out.
be.
Yeah,
Because people believed in Marcus Freeman, and you can see now for good reason. It's just they had to find their groove, and that happens sometimes.
Right.
Yeah, next year, once Drew Pine gets some more experience, maybe they get their other quarterback back.
Yeah,
I'm not sure where. I should have looked to see if these running backs can be leaving or if they're going to have another year. But if they have both these guys, maintain a couple offensive linemen,
yeah,
they're going to be a player next year. It's just those 2 losses beginning the season just hurt so bad right now because they could contend a lot better than Clemson ever could. We could see that clearly.
Yeah. All right.
Man.
So
Clemson era, I don't think it's over because you got Dabo. You still got talented classes coming in, but to the level we expect of, what I'm saying is, it was Clemson and Alabama for so many years. So they in the college playoff era have just dominated Alabama and Clemson.
Right.
I think Clemson has taken a step back, but to say their era is over, their era of dominance is over. But they're just back to being a good, solid team until they can get a star back at quarterback if they can. We'll see where the next 3 years for Dabo go because you never know, man. He might just if it is like this next year, we could be 2 years away from him being an NFL coach or something. Another program.
Could be. Right.
I'm sure he has a long leash, though. He's not going to just get fired, but his interests may sway otherwise if they can't get this back on track.
Yeah. So if you go back, to the stats, man, for Clemson on third down, 4 for 11. You are not being productive on third downs. Now, man, if you're passing, even running, there has to be a change somewhere there.
Yeah.
Because you just don't produce on third down. So it has to be a change somewhere on offense. Yeah. You aren't putting up points no more. You're just not. The defense is solid.
Yeah.
At best, solid.
I think this week made them look worse than they are because when you can't force the other team to pass the ball,
right,
you have limited yourself. If you just not only allow them to run like that, but you can't put up points on offense, your quarterback has a 33.9 QBR, the other team is allowed to just say, we're going to hammer this. We're just going to hammer it, man. And when you're just getting beat up like that on defense, your offense is doing you no favors. I think the defense has talent, but the offense being in such a bad spot contributes to them just not looking good. I think they're talented, but the offense has got to give them some leniency.
Right. Man, hey, I totally agree with that, man. All right. Next up, this game is TCU a real playoff team?
I'll let you go first on that one, man.
Okay. So now, as far as I'm, concerned, the real big teams they beat, like Oklahoma State, they aren't that good this year.
Shaking up.
They beat who they beat? They beat Kansas State too as well. They are a real good
hit or miss
and a bad weekly, so it's not so good. And this week they play Texas. A good test for them. A good test for them, man, because Texas is doing good too. So, but I don't think that they will stay in top 4. No, they'll do best, probably at best 8th.
I said your ranking of Clemson last week was too low.
Mm.
And my instinct right now is to say it about TCU, but you were right, and so I'm hesitant to be against it because you were on that one. What I see in TCU that bothers me, Texas Tech came out playing good on the
Oh, they
road.
did.
But you look at how they performed in the
game.
first half. 7 points in the first,
Right.
thanks to a punt return.
Mhm.
And then you got 2 field goals in the second. And then no points in the third.
They
They went in
flipping.
shaky. Now,
They're
a 21-point explosion in the fourth. That's kind of
Mhm.
what we've seen from TCU. Is that like between West Virginia, the other teams
Towards
they
the end
faced,
game?
man, they
Right.
blow up. They
Right.
go off. Once they get that steam, they start going.
Uh-huh.
But against one of these better teams, you know, the Ohio State, Georgia, Michigan, they're not going to let you do that.
No,
If you
no, no.
give them that momentum,
It's a defense.
it's like TCU's credit. They're one of those teams that are made to come back on you because they're so passing dominant.
Right.
That, you know, the running game is excellent against most teams, but
Mhm.
when you are down big, you have to pass. You're one-dimensional.
Right.
Luckily, TCU can handle that. You know,
Mhm.
Kendre Miller ran the ball amazingly for them. 21 carries, 158 yards, and a touchdown. You know, 7.5 yards per carry, but that's boosted by a 50-yard run. So the thing is to me is that Max Duggan last week called him a superstar, had superstar qualities. I'm looking at him like, you'll be an NFL player, but you got backup qualities now? I'm about to see a little more out of you now.
Right.
You know,
right.
he had a good game, but
Uh,
he got it done. You know, through the air and the ground. He had some good scrambles. You know, he's still a very good player, but it really wasn't the game I was wanting to see from them.
right.
You know, the score-wise was fine. You know, they're up to 9-0. That's fine. It's just those first 3 quarters that you get a punt return for a touchdown. How likely is that to happen every game? Not going to happen. This might be your one
Not
of the
quite.
season.
Right.
Everybody
Not
gets
right.
one a season, you know what I mean? But
Right.
2 field goals in the second and then nothing in the third. So you're telling me that the offense had 0 production. Truthfully.
None.
Like, you know, good yards, but
Right.
you're not getting in the end zone. You're not consistently at least getting to the red zone. That's not
You're not
really
winning.
it's empty calories at that point.
Right.
And that's what I'm seeing at TCU last week. And I'm going to give Texas Tech credit that they're pretty stout, man. They're a physical team. They represent Texas well. They're the state, but
Hey, listen, man.
that's not a
game was good.
high tier team.
It was a good
If
game.
you're talking,
Right.
yeah, if you're talking about
Right.
contenders, these guys are on a
Contenders?
different level than that. Like even LSU, I'm take LSU, even on the road. If it's in TCU, I mean, we just saw in TCU, or was it at Texas Tech? I'm mistaken. It wasn't TCU, actually, wasn't it?
Just at TCU.
You saw at home. You can't do that. 3 quarters of duds at home.
At home?
That's scary to
that?
me.
Right.
I wonder if last week and we're gonna get to hear in a second as well. How I was talking about how I like Texas against K-State because
Right.
sometimes K-State coming off that win can see themselves a little too highly, and they can
And
be a
then
little vulnerable
right
for an
there.
upset.
Right.
And then Texas, you know, coming off such a bad game, first, you know, away game for Quinn Ewers, that they're looking to really prove themselves.
Mhm.
Sometimes you just get a right matchup like that, and it's just 2 teams and 2 different mindsets coming to the
Exactly.
game. I wonder if TCU had a humbling performance and still came in with the win. If they can be humbled by this and come back hotter and more determined to prove themselves, they can still be a team that's scary, but they're only 4th because of their record. Like that, they may have won the game,
that's
but
it.
it was
It's
almost,
not
you know,
playing
my
about it.
personal opinion, it's almost a loss because they have gone down to me. You know,
Right.
you got the win, keep moving up the rankings because that's just how the rankings work. But
Right. Of course.
as far as momentum, you know, do I fear them? They went downwards.
TCU? Oh no.
That's one
No,
thing, man. Damn good team, gonna beat most teams, but
Right.
there's a different echelon of conversation between the top 5 to 6.
Mhm.
And
Man, look, they go to Austin Saturday to play Texas. That game for TCU will be tough.
because you know
Because-
Austin's gonna have 100,000 in the crowd, man.
Oh yeah.
Easy.
Yes, I know. Yes.
If I'm not mistaken, against Alabama, Texas had 106,000. You know what I mean? Like
It was
they better
sold
come
out
out strong.
that game.
They
sold out that game.
I wonder if they should rely on Kendre Miller a little earlier. You know, same point I
They
had for
need
Texas
to,
last
yes.
week that, you know, I know their passing offense is great.
Right.
You know, they have big hit plays that, you know, they have receivers in the 28 to 30 yards per catch on like, you know, 3 receptions, 1 reception. And so you can tell they have the big plays, but I think they do have a great running back there. and they need to really let that work. I mean,
Right.
but the thing is, when you have a 50-yard carry on that day, you're really looking at 20 carries for 108 yards. That if he didn't have that 50-yard rush, it looks different.
There's
And
nowhere lower.
even the one TD came at the 2-yard line.
Right.
And so if you retract 2 plays from Kendray's performance, you're looking at 19 carries for 106 yards, no touchdowns.
None.
That's, sometimes you see the overall box score and it's misleading. When you watch the game, it's like there were some duds in there. It was a Saquon Barkley of old. Not this year. Saquon's been on a different level so far this year for the most part.
This year. For sure.
But, the first few years of Saquon's, maybe not the first year, but like the 3rd through 4th years of Saquon's career, it's a lot of 0, 0, 0, 20, 0, 0, 0, 20.
Right.
That's almost what we saw from Kendray. And it's like, I think they should let him get moving earlier and see if they can count on that. But at the same time, they're in the position now that you can't lose, or else people are not going to respect you because you were too close to playoff time, and it's like just too much of a fringe on the playoff verge.
Oh, exactly. Listen, man, if they lose to Texas,
how far do you think they'll fall?
Trust me. Okay,
I'm trusting you this week, man. You earned it with Clemson.
They will go down. Probably between 7 and 10.
And you can't recover from that if you get one loss at this point in the year.
No, you
Beginning of the season, you might be able to bounce back up, but at this point in the year, you can't take that.
And 2, Texas plays well against good teams.
And traveling in state for a lot of teams is a big deal, but not when you're going to Longhorn City.
Like, no.
If they're going to Texas Tech, you can be like, hey, the crowd's going to travel well. Right. I'm sure Texas is going to be bought out this week, man.
Oh, man. Yes. fully stacked in it. Man, everything. Man, all righty. Man, this game here was good. I saw the whole game.
I did too. Every second of it, man.
I did too. What is the problem with Bama? What is Bama not doing? What is keeping them from scoring, winning? Man, Bama went back to 9th. Personally,
in the last 8
they
years.
should have fell to 10th, probably.
Yeah.
But they fell back. That is 2 losses away. Not home, but away.
At least it's not at home. It'd be embarrassing to happen at home.
It would be way worse at home.
Can you think the last time they were ranked this low as a program?
Man, it
was a while ago.
Man, it's been a minute.
At least a few years, man. You're just not used to seeing them in that spot. Like, obviously, they're still a top 10 program. Go against any schmuck on the road, they're going to be killing them. But these top teams, they're just not looking the same these last 2 years. Nick Saban after this last season was talking about how it was a rebuilding year.
Right.
I think this is a rebuilding year. I think this is a lot worse. This is worse. I mean, you made it to national championship this year. You're not going to make playoffs this year. 2 losses?
2 losses?
You're not doing it. You need some dumb luck to happen. It's just not going to happen. These top 3 seeds, I think, are locked in. I mean, obviously, between Ohio State and Michigan, someone's got to lose.
That game,
that's going to be done. We're going to have a lot to talk about that week, man, because I don't think Ohio State can play good in bad weather. And you look at the schedule of when that's going to be.
They are at home, though, that game.
But you can't put a roof on the shoe between now and then, man.
Well, true, yes.
But if you got bad weather, I'm taking Michigan. I'm going to be looking at the forecast for my predictions that week. I'm going to be a spoiler because Michigan is much more impressive in the running game and can count on it. Man. And if you look at what happened in Northwestern, man, just a little bit of too much wind, and it throws everything off for Ohio State.
Too wet, too, as well.
Yeah, man. It's not going to get drier in Ohio. It's not going to get less humid. It's not going to get any less windy this time of year.
It's going to be wet. Snow too probably.
We'll have to see. That week's coming. But right now for Bama and LSU, I think it's a confidence thing. I wonder if getting those close games early and not just blowing out a team like Texas who falls to weird losses in the year.
Right.
I wonder if it makes them question. Maybe the attitude is different. It's weird to me. It's really a weird day because Bryce Young, even early in the game, was just so thrown off. 25 for 51 passing.
That's a lot
And
of passing, though.
I should have seen what the first 3 quarters were because it was bad. I mean, he did a great job in the fourth quarter rebounding, but
Bryce Young, yeah, he did.
without one magical
first
play
3
that that one touchdown he had end of the fourth quarter to scramble out, slip, and find the open man downfield. That one play alone was everything I was saying last week, where he's going to make some weird moves back there that you're not used to quarterbacks making. He's going to slide out, and every defender has their eyes forwards. And someone comes from behind, you just don't see them. But that's one time. I thought that you were going to see 3 or 4 of those plays. Right. For him to be so shaken up early. And, Gibbs, man, Johnny Gibbs, he had 15 carries, 99 yards, a 6.6 average. But I don't know where that came from because I didn't see any control through the running game. Like when I saw that stat, I had to really go back and watch it again and make sure that was correct because I'm like, he didn't have the control that you'd imagine out of a 6.6 yards per carry.
Right.
He's impressive. Fastest dude on Alabama for sure. And I think as a pro prospect, I love him. He looks like Alvin Kamara to me. Is he going to be that? Let's hold some expectations a little bit. But I love Roydell Williams too. Those 2 goal line touchdowns were really impressive, man. Oh, yeah. I wonder if they should use him a little outside the goal line, but just in general, it's their defense for me. It's like you can't be that slippery on the road.
You can't.
And that's where I'm wondering if it's a confidence thing. I wonder if they are too aware of the fact that they are letting up 30-plus points per game in every game on the road. Mm-hmm. But they are not with the vibe and the energy that we're used to seeing out of Alabama. I don't know where specifically it's coming from, but that's the problem with Bama is the energy, what you're seeing out of the emotion and the lack of domination. Like what we saw at Georgia this week, when they'd make a tackle in the backfield, they are getting up and, banging heads on each other. Right. They're hyped. They're ready to run through some people. I'm used to seeing Bama that way, with Quentin Williams and guys like that. De'Aaron Payne, Jonathan Allen. And it's like, that is years ago now. They don't got that. No. I'm sure we're going to see plenty of these guys in the NFL, but the energy is just different. And I think they have realized that. And that's contributing to the energy being worse. As far as LSU, man.
They are a different team.
Daniels was efficient, man. 22 at 32. When you look at Bryce Young, who I said last week, I would have taken first. And I probably still stand on that on talent alone because, like I said, if you can just get an offensive line in front of him, he can do a lot. But Jaden Daniels, man, he might have played himself into a high-round pick just off this performance alone. Because it's like, I mean, he's already going to get drafted, no doubt. But, like,
of course,
top 3 rounds, top 2? We'll see come top 3. Second round, maybe. Maybe. We'll see how this year continues to go.
Late second round, probably.
If he had a bigger, collection of a college career, maybe.
I mean,
I hear you there.
Yeah.
I just think, man, 182 yards, that's not nothing crazy. But when you see 22 for 32 with that 180, then you see 2 touchdowns, and even on the ground, man, 18 carries for 95 yards.
Touchdown run, Rennie had 2 at the end, in overtime.
Can we talk about that?
That was different.
Can we talk about that run?
Man.
Am I the only one that's seen the block in the back? Everybody watching, please go watch the overtime highlights of Alabama. Mason Taylor, man, game of his career as a true freshman. Jason Taylor's, I believe his son or his nephew. NFL pedigree.
Son, I think it was his son.
That's impressive, man. I believe his brother might even play there as well. I think they both are on the roster, but
I think so.
Huge touchdown. Huge 2-point conversion. And 2-point conversion, there's nothing not to say. It was an amazing play. Just dropping the flat, reach across, game over. It's either you win or you lose right now. Right. And that yard made every bit of the difference. And he's the man. But I have in my notes right here, all capitals, block in the back. I wrote it in the moment because I sat here like, is that not so blatant and obvious? 5 yards in front of the ball carrier? There is enough going on in football with referees that we don't need to sit here the whole podcast because you can do this for every game.
Man,
But on that play,
we could do a whole
from
podcast
from
on that.
left to right, what an amazing play
Right.
by Jaden Daniels. But I could not, other than, I mean, there was a pass interference in this Bills and Jets game we're going to have to talk about because I'm going to do the same thing there. But
Yeah.
that was a pretty blatant block in the back. Didn't get called, and it was literally a man who's getting ready to make a tackle and just gets pushed down forward.
Right.
So impressive, but that really just staled it for me, being like, come on.
Mm-hmm.
Can we not, in the biggest moments, just ignore?
I mean, that was like obvious too. That like
When you see the
obvious.
replay from the end zone looking forward, you see Jaden Daniels coming towards you in the replay. You know,
Right.
for anyone who wants to go back and look,
Mhm.
It is in the middle of your screen in that replay. And I'm sitting here like, I know there's a back judge over here by the pylon that is looking straight at the same angle that we saw.
Right.
How that was not called, I'm sure he saw it, but there's this tendency in sports nowadays from the NBA, college football, and NFL where it's like, no, it's late in the game. We're going to hold our flags. And it's like, why? Isn't this the time it matters?
Right.
I just want consistency, and that it made it a little stale for me to be like, that's how we're going to end it.
Mhm.
Like, so impressive. Not to take away from Jaden Daniels, but that man, that got me messed up on that run.
Man, he played
So impressive, but should have called back.
Yeah. Man,
regardless, though, man, LSU's defense took over.
Oh, they played
way better than I expected.
Played.
The pass rush they got was beyond impressive.
Perkins. Next, the next Parsons, man. Don't know. The next Michael
Parsons is a little different, man. You know that. You look behind you.
Of course,
I know who you watch every week, man. You know there's not a lot like him.
Yeah.
I mean, I even said a few weeks ago, Brandon Browning was like Parsons, and I'll stand on that. The Broncos outside linebacker because he, switched from middle linebacker and was immediately an effective blitzer. But like Parsons, man, he's faster than most wide receivers, and he's about 30 pounds heavier.
Right.
He move when you just see him chase people down and move. It's like, is DK Metcalf in a Cowboys uniform? What is going on?
That big, that fast too, yeah.
It's just too fluid, and I think Perkins is a dog, but. Man, I'm gonna hold the Parsons tab for a special one.
Yeah, that's different though. I can't even lie about that. That man, and they play Green Bay next week too.
Yeah,
Parsons and them, hey, gonna be Sac City, but
people know we're gonna talk about that later in the week.
Oh yeah, for sure. Next we got Texas, man. Are the Texas Longhorns back? I'm gonna say no, but I'll say, hey, it is more of in the middle, honestly. Yes and no. Because they can, win again against good teams, but they'll lose playing bad teams.
Yeah.
So it's like, what is true Texas football? I mean, it's different every week.
I think they got back to playing some Texas football this week.
Oh, they did.
I mean, getting in the lead a little early, that definitely helps. But, man, like
it did.
I said last week, they would be very wise to just say, we're going to start the game with Bijan Robinson. We're going to start both halves.
They needed to do.
They put that to him. 30 carries for 209, a big touchdown. No, the way he was running, 7 per carry, man. I'm surprised he didn't have 3 or 4 touchdowns, but you'll take the one you get.
Yeah, more than that, yeah.
Now, it was scary to me getting shut out in the second half.
Yeah.
Scary. But they just got off to such a lead, man, that, even a 17-point second half for the K-State, it wasn't enough. They just got out too far.
It wasn't, right. Yeah.
Unless you're TCU, you can't come back from that. And even TCU would have – we're going to find out. But
it's going to be a good game Saturday.
It's going to be –
Texas TCU. Man, it's going to be good.
Man, it's in Texas. I know where I'm leaning. But for me, man, 14 in the first quarter, 17 in the second. Mm-hmm. You really can't come back from that. It was just too much too early, man. And Bijan Robinson, and they had another back running crazy on him. Like, I really was underwhelmed by K-State's defense, but at the same time, we never were high on them for their defense.
Oh, of course not. No.
And I mean,
no.
The other quarterback K-State had, Howard, man, I really thought I was a bigger fan of him than Adrian Martinez. Because I thought he was just a better pure passer. I thought he could just spread the ball out a little bit.
Oh, he is better.
Adrian Martinez, though, man, I see what they like in him a lot.
Yeah.
24 for 36, 329 on the through the air, 2 touchdowns, and interception, and then through the ground he's got 14 carries and 52 yards, another rushing touchdown.
Right.
It's a lot better than I expected, man. Like he's someone that earned my respect for sure. It's just your defense gave way too much up through the ground.
Way yardage, points
Yeah.
5-2.
And so it's like
Making
when
it
you're
in there.
allowing, wasn't it damn near 300 yards in total through the
Yeah.
ground? Man, because they had 3 or 4 running backs running the ball for them. It wasn't just Robinson. They let him get some rest late in the game, man. So it's like Quinn Ewers, man, 18 to 31, talking about 191 yards, 2 touchdowns. He did what I expected.
right.
So many guys, and credit to Joel Klatt, ESPN. He was
Yeah.
speaking on his first road experience last week, and this is what really influenced my pick, was like him speaking on how the first time he went on the road as quarterback, he thought he knew how loud it was going to be. He thought he knew everything was going to happen. But then when he gets to game time, he's like missing. He's calling wrong formations with plays. He's missing the snap counts. He's calling the wrong things. It's just so overwhelming. And I think we saw that from Quinn Ewers a week ago. But this week, man,
Right.
once you get in a lead like that, once you let the running backs take the tempo and really solidify it, what is
Start
there not
off
to be
early.
comfortable about? Like,
Right.
I don't
Exactly.
care if they're on the road or not, man. Like, that was impressive. That was amazing.
That was
And I
good.
think, is it a 350-yard performance? No, it didn't need to be. Like,
Exactly.
for how much they ran the ball, you look at that
That was a
18 for
lot of time they
31,
ran the ball.
190 plus yards, and that's really impressive. And I
Mhm.
think, are you asking, are they back as far as this year or the next 5 to 6?
Nah, just this year.
Okay, this year,
It,
it's
I
going
mean,
to be
it
tough to
changes
make a run.
yearly though. So
Here's my
no.
thing. Quinn Ewers is showing signs of that development. We got to remember, man, this guy was supposed to be in high school last year. He
Yeah, he
reclassified to be at
was.
Ohio State. And now
Uh-huh.
this year, he's supposed to be a true freshman coming
Mhm.
in after a year of experience. That what kind of experience did he really get? Just watch him as a red shirt is, questionable. But Ohio State, it's not a slouch. And now
Nah,
he's getting this experience.
good
Now
forward.
it's the real time to talk. And I think I'm seeing signs the next few years that he's going to be there. Good to come. Then you're talking about Arch Manning coming in. I think the
Ooh,
next
that's gonna
5
be
to 6,
good
yeah. And if they can get
competition
this
though.
culture going, because the
Oh
thing about
yeah.
Texas is like the last 3 draft classes have not been impressive. The
No.
last 2
No.
recruiting classes, the next 3 recruiting classes, I think there's a lot more to come. And so I
It's gonna be
think
better. Yes.
going forward, I
Uh-huh.
think Sarkisian can get a lot going there.
Oh, he
But as
can.
far as this year, I think it's just a little early. I'm not sure they have enough time and enough resume to make a run at the playoffs.
For right now,
I would
no.
love to. I would love to see it, but I don't think it's possible. Just
Yeah, this year no.
they're back going forward, but this year they're a good team. They're going to
Right.
beat a lot of people.
Solid team, not the best.
We'll see this week, man.
But solid.
We'll see this week if they can repeat how they played this game, script the same way. I mean, we just saw TCU be vulnerable to a tough physical team.
Which
We just saw them be vulnerable to a
Well,
good running game,
that
and
weakness.
so
Right.
yeah, and so I think Texas, especially Sarkisian, man, like he's got NFL experience with my Falcons. Like he's
Right.
got the Alabama experience. I think really he's gonna look at it and be like, I know exactly how I'm gonna play this game. There's no
Exactly.
question of what the game plan is going to look like, and I
Exactly.
think that's going to really draw up some favorable matchups for Texas.
Mhm.
And I think this year, good team. Next few, high expectations.
Could be. Oh yeah, man. Top 10. The
No
playoffs
question.
by 24, 25 maybe.
We'll see
Well, I
this
think
week.
Texas could see.
I'm saying potentially next year, but
Mhm.
we're going to find out this week against TCU. We're gonna see who they are.
All righty, man. It's time to switch over to the NFL. The NFL was a week of
Confusion.
shocks, confusions, surprises, everything. I mean, if you start off, man, Bills and Jets, man, are you buying the Jets? What's the true thought?
Robert Saleh has created a culture. The last year he looked a little nervous to be himself. Even in the beginning of this year, he looked a little timid, but he is starting to look like the defensive coordinator we saw in San Francisco. He is as energized as any of the players are after a play. He is out here yelling, running on the field. Just he has commanded the energy there in a way that not a lot of coaches can because he's just being himself.
Right.
And I think that's a big reason that this defense is elite. But I mean, Sauce Gardner, man, how many times you get a rookie and he's this
Sauce
guy
Gardner
already?
is killing it, man.
Oh my God, he fits
Sauce
the
Gardner.
name.
Oh,
Quentin Williams is a killer right now. Having Carl Lawson healthy, killer right now. I don't think the rookie Johnson's even playing every snap, but does he need to? You got a guy like John Franklin Myers who is a DN built like a D tackle, but man, he don't play like a D tackle. That man is fluid. He is disruptive. They got so much on defense. I mean, the 49ers, you know, what we've come to know is the 49ers defense. Saleh has brought over the same schematics and everything. You know, a lot of
the whole team now.
A lot of nickel looks, a lot of dime looks, a lot of 5-2 looks. It just he surrounds the offensive line with good talent or with a lot of defensive talent. I mean, but what he does in the secondary keeps it very simple. A lot of man-to-man with people who are comfortable there. DJ Reed, man. I know that the comeback player of the year, I guess it's comeback player of the year, so he's not eligible for it. But if we were just talking about, like, if this was NBA, talking about most improved player, DJ Reed is my vote, man, because he is a star now, man. Like, he was really good for Seattle, but he has fit this scheme so well. What he was doing is Stephon Diggs, man. If I'm not mistaken, the Diggs had maybe 1-0 receptions in the first half because of Sauce and DJ Reed.
Well, first half, no, he had like 2.
Limited though, very limited. And there was even a deep bomb that I remember DJ Reed breaking up himself, and it was like, "You got 2 of these guys?"
Yeah,
that's impressive, man.
Had 5 catches the whole game, only 5.
The Josh Allen injury bothers me for the Bills. I think that had a lot to do with it. But even that very last play of the game, he hit Gabe Davis in the chest plate, and it just went right through his arms.
Just right through him. Now, that's on Davis, though.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, on Davis.
As an injured quarterback, let alone a healthy quarterback, you cannot throw that ball better. It is hitting you in the chest plate on a good route. Right. And that changes the game if he just catches it, but things aren't perfect. I think the Jets running game, I got to give it some more credit. You know, I've been seeing the last week and a half how Michael Carter didn't pass my eye test. He's a little too small, a little not explosive enough for me. Mm-hmm. He got it done, man. You know, 10 plus carries, 76 yards. James Robinson also got 13 carries, and I wish people respect him more. Though. I wish the Jaguars, I know Etienne's a star, and we're seeing that come to life. James Robinson, what was there not to like? What was there not to embrace? The fact they got him for such a late pick was like, I don't get it.
Man, that was a steal.
Would teams like my Falcons not just have put the same thing in? I don't get it, man. Right. But both those running backs getting combined, I believe, 30-plus touches, they made a lot out of it. And what really determined the game in my eyes, not just how disruptive the Jets defense can be, not just that they can make big breakups, you know, and big key passing downs, the time of possession they allowed because those 2 running backs. You know, losing Breece Hall, they needed to get that way. Having a 32-minute and 44-second time of possession to the Bills having 27 minutes, you can say, oh, what does 5 minutes do? A lot, especially when you're scoring the ball consistently. Mm-hmm. And that's where they're very efficient in the red zone. They're very efficient at getting into the opponent's side of the field. And when they can just keep putting points on the board, they are a team that needs to be respected, because you look at Zach Wilson as a fantasy manager and you're like, oh, I don't want to touch him. He's terrible. But it's like he's 5-1 as a starter, and he can make every throw. He plays a little immature as far as against the Patriots especially. It's like, what are you doing? You're trying to do so much extra. But he came back this weekend, man. Game manager. Did perfect. Right. You don't need to throw. He's Mr. FM stats to me, and I love it, because you don't need to throw for 330 yards when you have an offensive line that even down a couple starters is playing great. I mean, we haven't heard Mekhi Becton's name all year. You know, Elijah Vera Tucker was playing like a Pro Bowler and just went down. Right. You didn't really notice. Nobody knew that. You didn't notice that they got backups playing in there because they were moving the ball effectively, and especially against the Bills defense, man. That's one of the top defenses in the league this year. A
top defense.
Yeah. The Bills specialize in having such a deep defensive line unit, and you would not have guessed that. You would have thought they were playing against like the Chargers this week, because they were just push. One play. That's all you need. the Jets have 5 good wide receivers for no reason. I mean, people forget Denzel Mims is still there. I don't know if he's ever going to have a decent career at this point, but he's talented. Elijah Moore asked for a trade because he's like, yo, you're not using me. But, why would they?
And he did right.
When they could do this kind of performance against that kind of team,
Mhm.
what are you talking about? Let's run the ball. Let's pass when we need to and play amazing defense. You can beat a lot of teams in the league that way. And apparently you can beat what you thought was the number one. I mean, I think we saw a little bit of why I didn't want to put them over the Eagles.
Yeah.
But, I mean, personally, just in that conversation, I'm like, the Eagles are getting everybody's best shot and they're still hanging on. We got to remember, when you're an undefeated team, every team is preparing for you 2 weeks ahead of time. Yeah, another conversation. We can put that off till later this week, man.
Philly is not beating good teams. So let's
But the thing is this. Here's the thing. Let's jump on that one. When you are an undefeated team, just like when you're a Super Bowl winner coming back, we're seeing everybody give their best shot to the Rams, and they cannot handle it. But the Eagles, man, when you got the Eagles on your schedule, in my mind, you finish your game plan for whoever you're facing this week, and you immediately start on the Eagles. You get a week and a half of preparation from every team you face. And for them to handle that, manage it, and still be in exceeding fashion, having convincing wins, no matter who your opponent is. It's the NFL, man. If you didn't notice this week, you can lose to the Lions at any moment, at any time. And they're just not.
Yeah, that's why they lost.
Yeah, we're going to talk about that one too, bro. We definitely talk about that one.
Listen, I am not sold that Philly is the best team right. No, they're not, because they beat Texans, the Steelers, the Titans. I'm sorry, Dallas with Cooper Rush. You ain't beat a good team yet, so their test will be like the Giants, probably, or like Dallas, Tennessee, the Colts defense.
We are 5 games away. They don't 5 days away.
No good and no true good team. So Philly, come the post season.
Listen, I know that you hate on this team as well. I know that both these teams in this matchup you are a big hater on. And maybe I need to remind myself that that picture is behind you. Maybe this is what's fueling this Eagles hate here. But come 5 days from now, who are they playing?
Oh, the Giants.
Are they playing the Vikings this week, or are they playing the Giants?
No, they play the Giants.
When do they play the Vikings?
They played them like week 3.
Okay, I had them mistaken. Still, though, I mean, that's my argument there. I believe in the Vikings. I think the Vikings are a great team. So
they're good. Great. No, they're good.
Great.
They're a good team. Look,
very, very good at the least.
They have these records because they play bad teams.
How did the Dolphins almost lose to the Bears and the Lions? You gonna say they're not a team like that either? What about the Lions? Because they almost lost to the Lions too.
Well, okay.
Any team can win any given day, man. That's the NFL. It's not college.
This year.
Yeah.
No, I'm sorry. So the Eagles play Washington Sunday.
Oh, okay. Really? I misread the schedule. That's a win.
That's a win. It could not be good, but
I love me some Taylor Heineke, but that ain't gonna do nothing. That ain't gonna do nothing against Philly, man. I'm telling you, I love them. But to finish our point on the Bills and Jets, man, I'm concerned going forward with the Bills because of the injury. I'm hoping it's not a serious one. But this is 2 weeks in a row that, the second half of last week and then this week, Josh Allen kind of got back to his old ways of getting a little squirrely with it. And you can say this week is strictly because of injury, a throwing arm injury. It's affecting you no matter who you are. But Jets need to be taken seriously, man, in every facet of the game. They're maybe not putting up 400 yards in the passing game, maybe not throwing 68 times like the Chiefs, who we're going to talk about later. But
68 passes?
I think the Jets are It's going to be interesting to see how this season plays out as far as records. I'm not imagining the Bills are going to lose too many games, but the Jets got a pretty good record themselves, man.
And they do. They're 5 and no, they're 6 and
6-2.
3 right now.
Yeah, man.
3 right now.
So what are they? A game behind the Bills? 2 games behind the Bills?
No, game. No, another tie. With the Bills.
Bills got 3 losses, or they got 2?
No, 2 losses. So
Yeah. Game back. One
Yeah.
game behind the Bills. And if
Yeah.
it's not, you just got the tiebreaker on them too.
yeah,
So
that's true.
we're gonna.
Yeah,
This gonna be if they can.
It'll be
It's
good.
gonna be a lot to try to beat them again, but they just beat them at home. If the Bills travel to New York
and
take a loss,
and the Dolphins too. They doing good too.
oh,
They
man,
6-3.
I totally just. Why are they in the same division? They're on the other side of the country.
I know.
I always forget that they're also in that division. Can we just put them in the
It's a
AFC South?
three-way
Let's
tie.
rearrange this, man. That's so stupid. I always forget the
man.
Dolphins are in that division, man. When the Patriots used to be
They
good,
are.
I used to be like, oh, yeah, they do play Miami twice. What? Why?
Yeah.
But regardless, man, what a division. To have the Patriots
I know.
controlling good games and they're the worst team in that division, what?
Mhm.
The opposite of my division, the NFC South, I'll tell you that. But on to the next.
All right. Man, next up. I told you last week Detroit would win. I
We
told you
didn't talk
that.
about it on the podcast. It didn't happen.
No. Hey, listen. Oh well, true. Yeah,
Inside
but I told
information.
you,
We agreed on every
Detroit
other game,
would
man.
win. Detroit would. I told you. Listen, Aaron Rodgers does not like his wide receivers. He don't. He is not sold in on the team. Detroit beat them because Aaron Rodgers is not connecting with the team. And if the captain is not in sync, that ship will sink down. And that is what is proven right now.
I'm going to say
Green Bay, done.
I'm going to give a quote.
They
got Greg Williams suspended for a year or two from the. You remember that whole situation, the Bounty Gate situation? Way back 2012 or something like that. It was.
Right.
Greg Williams was the defensive coordinator for the New Orleans Saints, and they were going against Brett Favre, the Minnesota Vikings. And he gave a quote saying, "If you kill the head, the body will die." I'm seeing that from a few teams right now. I'm seeing. I don't want to blame Rodgers. I'm gonna let in some inside information behind the scenes here.
Okay.
We agreed on every single game this week, except for you saying the Lions would win. And I roasted you for it. Going into week 9, the Chiefs had the number 1 scoring offense in the NFL. The number 2 was not the Bills. It was whoever was playing the Lions.
Right.
They were letting up so many points. Firing their defensive back coach, I didn't think could have that kind of effect. And I don't know if that's necessarily what it was because the Packers have not been good against anybody. But
not at all.
It's too late for them to turn this season around, and I want to see how that losing Rashawn Gary, man.
Yeah, that's a blow.
I don't know what to believe in now because I want to just point out David Bakhtiari, man. Can we figure out if we're gonna be hurt, sit out. If you're gonna play,
stay down.
But even if you play and come out, why are you coming back in the game when the game's already over with like a couple minutes left in the fourth?
Right.
What are we doing here? We're not the only show talking about this. I think it's a very boggling everybody's mind, but you're getting paid so much.
It's everywhere. Right.
Either I know you're coming back from ACL. It's not like I'm just taking that lightly, but either play or come out and don't.
Right.
I think that things like that are contributing. I think Aaron Rodgers, like everybody wants to get on him about the few years where he's been doing interviews every Tuesday. I don't think it has anything to do with that. I'm sure every coach in the building at 2 p.m. at whatever time it is, Tuesdays every week is tuned into that show, trying to see what does Aaron really think. But it's so much more than that. Last week they lost Quay Walker to ejection and Devondre Campbell early, and I thought that was a big deal. This week Romeo Doubs goes out early, Bakhtiari's in and out. You lose Rashawn Gary with a blown out ACL now. It's like. And isn't he going to a contract year too? Oh my God, so bad for him, man.
Yeah,
but
right.
The Packers just don't make sense how broken they clearly are. That is literally what I
They
have written on my
3 and
paper right here.
6.
I do not understand how they're so broken because it's not just one thing. It's not just Aaron Rodgers. It's not just that the defense is so talented and so underwhelming at the same time. It's not just that their offensive line, who actually is very talented, is just not healthy. I mean, there's 3 guys between Elton Jenkins and Bakhtiari and Josh Myers, their second-year player. I love all 3 of them. But, like, when they're not healthy and they're not playing up to who they're supposed to be, and then the wide receivers. What were they thinking with Sammy Watkins being their top ad in the offseason? What are we supposed to do with that? What were we thinking? And the reports have come out all week about how they offer a first-round pick for DJ Moore and gets turned down. They're in the running for Claypool, but funny enough, the Bears are 1 pick ahead of them. And then the team turned the Steelers traded Chase Claypool to the Bears, not the Packers, because they said they'll probably get a better pick. I don't know if that's going to happen now.
Oh, now it's not. No.
I mean, neither of them are going to be, drastically different, but that might be a 3 or 4 pick difference one way or the other. That's the thing. And with the momentum, who has the energy there? Clearly the Bears. Yes. So it's like but even if you get Claypool halfway through the season, does that just change life?
No.
Does that just change everything, man? No, it doesn't. And it's like it's incredible to me that, like, they really sat here with an underwhelming Amari Rodgers. 3 rookies between the 2nd, 3rd, and 7th round. Toure, he looks decent, but he's a late-round pick. Dobbs has been very impressive, but he's a rookie. Christian Watson, I love me some Christian Watson. He is everything the MVS was supposed to be and some. But he's not healthy. He's not on the field. He's MIA. I got an APB out for him, bro. It's like, what were we thinking? Thinking that Sammy Watkins and Randall Cobb is going to replace Devontae Adams.
Right, exactly.
And I don't think it's just that. I think there's so many things wrong with this team, including the fact that you have A.J. Dillon and Aaron Jones. Aaron Jones, man, I almost want him to get out of there. It makes no sense. He's perfect. Keep him there. Matt LaFleur can do so much with him when he chooses to.
Right.
When you just use him every 5-6 plays, it's like, what do you have a top 3 running back in the league for? And I'm high on – that's a high take for me. I know it is. But if you put Aaron Jones in Christian McCaffrey's place in San Francisco, what are we getting there? A lot. A lot of Aaron Jones, man.
A lot of that, yes.
And it's like they don't care to use him half time. And maybe this is a personal thing as a fantasy manager of Aaron Jones. Like, I wish they would just use him consistently because he's either giving me 40 or 5. But can we just be consistent in our game plan? Not just say, okay, we figured out something's going to work. Let's never do it again. Right. That's almost the vibe I'm getting from this. It's like everything is wrong with the Packers. There is no time or hope for them to turn this season around because they are completely and utterly dysfunctional. Not as much as the Raiders, but very close. And the fact that this happened to Devontae Adams and Aaron Rodgers, I don't know how they could be feeling right now, man, because it is what a loss of a season for both of them, for both franchises.
Huge loss.
I mean, the Raiders have so much talent too, man. Right. I almost want to dive deep on how they could be so bad because they got so much. Even their offensive line, people thought was going to be terrible, was actually pretty decent. It's just like the Packers are broken, man. I think it's a culture shock and a confidence issue from multiple facets, not just one. And the fact that they took Jordan Love over Justin Jefferson, man. People knew in the moment it was a bad pick, but could they have known it was going to be this bad?
No, they didn't know. No, they didn't.
At what point do you say Aaron Rodgers is 38, 39 years old? Hello, blink there.
Okay, there you go.
Yeah, something happened. At what point do we look at Aaron Rodgers as a very, very veteran quarterback and say,
right,
why are we going to put him through this? And how many more losses can they have? I think they're at 6 or 7 in a row.
6. No, it's 5 in a row right now.
Man, that's still so bad.
Yeah. We're
approaching week 10. At what point do they say we're just going to let you be healthy, move on to next year if you're going to be here, which with a guy like that, you just never know at this point, and We got to find out what Jordan Love is, because the thing is this not Jordan Love's 4th year?
Yes, yeah, it is, and he don't play.
It might be his 3rd,
He
but
don't
regardless,
play.
man,
Right.
So we don't even know what he is.
So what? So what contract can you give Jordan Love now?
Because I tell you what,
don't play.
If Mark Murphy is sitting here watching in practice Jordan Love light things up and we just don't hear about it, because we don't hear about it, I find very unlikely.
Right.
If they see great potential from him and they look at Patrick Mahomes' situation and say they put him in year 2, he dominated and they had to give him a generational contract, maybe they just sit back like, at some point Aaron's going to be out of here. We're going to pay him $5 million a year and have a superstar.
Right.
If that's the only good scenario here. Otherwise, you wasted a pick again.
You're really high round pick at that 4 years ago.
Oh my god! I think it might have been 3, but regardless, bro, it's like it really is so bad.
Right.
It's just so bad. Everything about Green Bay is so bad. I don't know what else to say. It's so bad. They're too talented, man. This don't make sense. I don't care about injuries. It's so bad.
I don't get it.
I can understand where a lot of teams are bad. Not this one. Between the coaches, the talent, and the people they have, and the scheme that they have run, and how effective they've been at it, what is going on? And I wonder, maybe just like Alabama, if that conversation is happening in the building, it's just like, look at Seattle, man. When you have a group of guys on one talent, or not on one talent, on one focus and one mindset, and they're just working together, you can do a lot, man.
Oh, you can.
You get 15 good guys, you can overthrow a country some places, man. In the NFL, you get a team that is just locked in, ready to just move in the same page to the same beat of their own drum. You can beat a team like this that is just everybody's on their own thing. I mean, even a few weeks ago, we should have seen this coming where Jair Alexander has a comment, another player has a comment, and Aaron Rodgers wants to come out on Tuesday and talk about, well, that's not, I don't think that was the right context. It's like, no, it clearly was. Right. They said if they lose to the Jets, that it was going to be like panic time. Where are we at now?
Man, you lost to the Jets, to the Lions,
to the Commanders.
To the Commanders.
Oh,
before
that Jets, one hurts.
That was low.
Then the Lions, man. What is going on here?
And you put up 9 points against the Lions. 9.
Embarrassing.
Man,
and you know what the craziest thing? Real quick, the craziest thing to me, the Packers put up 389 yards as a team. The Lions put up 254. Now, that is a little misconstrued. Don't just look at the box score, because when you throw 3 interceptions, you're giving short field to the other team. But, like, how do you have such domination in certain categories, like time of possession and things like that? They had 34 minutes of time possession versus the Lions having 25. Now, you can, like I said, when you throw 3 interceptions, you give them short fields, and the Lions were able to make quick strike plays. So it's a little misconception, but, like, usually if I just give you 2 stats, here is a 135-yard difference in total yards.
Right.
Here is a whopping 9 minutes difference in time possession. Are you not going to pick the team with both those categories leading almost every time?
It has the most, right.
How do you lose when you have that? And how do you lose so convincingly? Maybe it is on Aaron, but that's my favorite quarterback ever. I can't do that.
Oh, yeah, he's good. Oh, now, what's worse?
So bad.
What is worse is the Bucs and
both of them.
I mean,
both of them.
The 2 most recent
Super Bowl
winners, and y'all tanked. Y'all just dropped.
It's so bad.
I mean, there is no push. There is no, strive to, do better, be better. I mean, yes, there are, some hurts, some personal, things, too as well. But man, both teams struggled to get their 4th win of the season, and the score was 13-16. but it was not a game of defense. Y'all just trash.
Both sides, man. It's so
Both
bad.
sides.
I'm gonna just keep saying what I said last time. How is it so bad? What is
What
this year,
changed?
bro?
What was
How are
different?
we sitting here with the Jets, Giants, and Seahawks and Falcons as competitive teams? And then
Exactly.
you got the Buccaneers, Rams, Raiders, who made all these moves, and Packers just being like
and they did
straight hot
nothing
garbage,
with it.
man. Straight hot
Right.
garbage. Like, and to our viewers, the only reason we're talking about this is because they won the last 2 Super Bowls. There's a game like this, like the Raiders Jags. We're not gonna talk about the Raiders Jags. Why would we talk about the Raiders Jags, man? No
Exactly.
reason. A team like these teams should not be this bad. I mean, the Rams, I can actually understand losing 4 veterans, losing 4 leaders, losing 4 voices in the locker room. That hurts, man. And the Bucks too. You know, this weird offseason situation where Tom Brady's trying to go to Miami, and this gets blown up in some giant thing brought on by Brian Flores, which is rightfully so. I mean, it's wrong, but
Right.
I wonder if that's
right.
where the issue started. You lose Gronkowski,
Mhm.
you lose Ali
Gronkowski.
Marfet to retirement, and then you got a couple leaders like Mike Edwards. Or who's the safety the Jets got? Man, I can't believe I'm shorting on his name. They lost a big defensive player.
They drafted him, right?
Jordan Whitehead. That's what it is, man. I know
Yeah.
they lost to Jordan Whitehead to the Jets, but that's a role player, I thought. I don't want to give him the credit I'm giving like losing Odell, Von Miller, and Andrew Whitworth and Sebastian Joseph Day. That's big.
Right.
Having 2 guys retire, and one of them who we kind of thought was going to retire, and Gronk, then you lose a big safety who played big minutes for them last year. But like
Then you lost him.
Brady had 36 of 58. What? 22 incompletions? I mean, he's
That's a
over
lot of passing,
60%. It's on a 44-year-old man? Is he 45 yet?
Yeah, 44. Yeah.
Oh my God. That's not what he signed up for. The only positive from the Buccaneers is that Tom Brady is very clutch and you can be confident in the fourth quarter. He's just not phased.
Right.
And Vita Vea was
man, he crushed that.
I thought it was hilarious. I was looking at the box score, just collecting some stats. You know, they counted him for 0 QB hurries.
None?
0.
Because
he had 2 sacks on the day, a tackle for loss. But man, it's not that he had a hurry, because I guess they consider a hurry when he's approaching a sack and nearly misses it.
I believe, yeah.
But how many crush of the pockets did he have this week? Just absolutely drive a guard and a center back and make Matthew Stafford have to look down 5 seconds earlier. Like he just the same as Carter for Georgia. I mean, they had similar games where it was from the nose, crushing the pocket, just destroying it. And that's all I can say about Tampa Bay, because even Mike Evans is out here dropping passes, getting hurt. What is going on? But with the Rams, listen to this, man. Stafford had 165 passing yards. Cooper Kupp had 127 receiving yards. So you're telling me you can manage 38 more yards? Is that right? Am I doing this right? Is it 48 or 38?
No, that's 38 yards, I believe.
Oh my God.
Yes.
What?
But
what is going on? How?
Stafford
how does no one else get the ball?
Nobody else.
He trusts Higbee. I mean, Allen Robinson was the big acquisition this year. At least do something with him.
Sold up yet. Right.
And I mean, he is getting paid for nothing. He got franchise tag last year, did nothing with it. Got a new contract this year, did nothing with it. I guess we just got – I love Allen Robinson, but maybe he only is a good player in my Madden teams, quite frankly.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Like, you are so one-dimensional just throwing the Cooper Kupp that you can't even scratch 180 yards as a quarterback.
Right.
As someone that, and I'm wondering maybe they just got the Super Bowl last year is putting questions in my mind now, because the Bengals just came out of nowhere. I mean, they got hot. We can see them light. Like Joe Burrow, I believe, has 4 of the top 6 passing performances in a game in NFL history. He goes crazy sometimes. Him and Jamar Chase, they got it. They've always had it.
Oh, of course.
But even going into last year's NFC Championship, if Jaquiski Tartt catches that ball in the middle of the field that hit him in the chest plate, that interception.
Right. Oh,
the Rams are going to the Super Bowl.
Right.
And so it's like, and I remember even betting in the games last pro season, which I have not bet since. Let me tell you what. You you knew Matthew Stafford was going to throw that interception. It's just at what point in the game and to what cost.
And win. Right.
It's not even that now. It is just complete ineffectiveness.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not even the elbow he had during training camp. No, he's throwing the ball fine. It is just, this is not looking like a Sean McVay offense. Why they didn't give up a 4th-round pick for Kareem Hunt, I don't understand it.
They should have.
And it's not even just that, because the offensive line is playing like trash, but both these teams, what is going on?
Man, it's a new O-line there now. They are all new.
It's really not new. It's just missing Andrew Whitworth.
Except
it is the same team.
Right.
And even when Andrew Whitworth missed games last year, Noteboom played just fine. It really isn't that different.
Really.
Who is it? Who is different from the starting lineup other than Whitworth? I don't think there's anybody. Dude, what is going on with the Packers, Rams, and Bucks, man? Oh my God, Autumn does some good football.
Good, man. A good one, man. And we got more, man, coming up, man. But
yes,
we have hit our 1 week mark. We have done this, for a week, man.
Yeah, man.
Man, it's been fun. Been cool. Man, this is awesome. We met last week or the week before?
Last week, behind the scenes information. Me and this man met each other, I think 10 days ago now. So to be where we're at, man, this is a success. We keep this ball rolling, and I am excited to keep working on this, man. This is a big thing for me.
All righty, guys. We will be back on Friday night at 7 p.m. Central time.
Yes,
all right, guys. And we will talk on the games coming up, college and pros as well. But that is all for tonight. See you guys later.
Have a good one, y'all.